But that's the sad thing actually is that Tantra, tantric sex, whatever you call it, is being taken out of the context. Tantra is a spiritual practice, like any other spiritual practice, that take us up to that ultimate, to the summit, right? To the top of the mountain, wherever that is that you, as I mentioned, whether it's your self-realization in terms of spirituality or meeting with God, Buddha, or whoever, or the supreme consciousness soul. So that is the path. But that path, this path is embrace life with full intensity. And it embrace everything, including our sexuality.
Welcome to Old God Talks to Me, a podcast dedicated to helping guys create kick-ass lives for themselves and those that they love. Ladies, if you want to know what your guy is thinking, this podcast is for women too. Each week, a special guest helps you create that life you've imagined. We talk anti-aging medicine, personal growth, relationships and hot sex. Yeah, you hear me, getting laid more frequently, other guy vices, and topics that many don't want to talk about but need to. Just because you're getting older doesn't mean you have to be old. Don't want to miss anything? Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review this podcast. And be sure to go to www.thestandard.academy/magazine and grab a free copy of our new digital magazine, The Standard Academy, where we talk about erogenous zones, growing hair back, and other things that will help you create that kick-ass life. Now get ready to listen up and share with friends.
This is Orsi, official old guy at oldguytalkstome.com, a podcast dedicated to helping older guys create kick-ass lives for themselves and those that they love, folks. That's right, those that they love. And part of that, well, is sensuality and also tantric sex and emotional training. And today we have in the studio an expert in that area, Lotus Nguyen. And she is a certified entrepreneur mentor, mindfulness trainer, love coach, and tantric and energy healer, as well as Qigong instructor. Did I pronounce that right? Qigong?
Qigong.
Qigong. Okay, I knew I'd get that wrong. Over the past 13 years, Lois has helped hundreds of men and women heal and flourish so they become more empowered versions of themselves and live their dream lives. Purpose-driven entrepreneurs and heart-based business leaders hire Lotus to rejuvenate their love mojo because they are tired of unfulfilling love. And a lot of people have that. Their passions for intimacy and romance have faded. As a consequence, their business becomes stagnant and life is a dull affair. And Lotus helps them to train the mind and unlock the heart, heal the body, and reintegrate heart, mind, body, soul as a whole so they can step into their power, enjoy it with confidence, thrive in their businesses, and make bigger impact on the world. So welcome, Joy. Welcome, Lotus. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. And thank you for having me on your platform and sharing my passion with your audience.
Sure. So I always like to, I always ask the same question of all my guests. Very same question is, what is the most important thing you've done today?
Oh, well, the most important thing I've done today is to, again, as my usual practice, is to get in touch with myself and to kind of take care of myself with my practice, meditation, with movement meditation as well, and basically just ground myself for the day.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting that because I asked this a lot of questions, and I would say about more than half the time people talk about their morning ritual, which is very important. Meditation, maybe journaling, exercise, all of those things. So I know I have a very specific morning ritual that I go through before I actually start working, and it takes me about maybe a little bit over an hour if I'm doing weights, and it takes me an hour and a half because I can consider exercise, but it involves meditation, journaling, and some other things. So I think that morning ritual is really great. So Lotus, you when you were a child, you did not say, "Hey, I want to be a tantric." I'm going to call it tantric sex, but it's more than just sex. An expert in teaching people the practice of tantric mindfulness and sensuality. How did you happen to get on this route?
Well, that's a great question. So what can I say? It's the universe that take me on the path to helping people in that way, to bring more love and consciousness into our relationship, particularly into our intimacy and sexuality. So I was born in Vietnam and already at the young age, I already had to take care of my family. And after I finished university in Qigong, I came to the UK and worked my way up as a film director and producer, making documentaries for British and international broadcasters for 15 years. Right. On the surface, it looked like I was an accomplished, successful, and competent woman. I had a good job. My late husband was a wonderful friend and soulmate. Friends looked at me with envy for the good life that I seemed to have. But little did they know that deep down, my heart was wrenched with sorrow, loneliness, and despair. I was in a sexless relationship. My body was aching with longing for intimacy. My heart was yearning for deeper love. I grew up in a culture where women's role was to serve men, and the expression of love through sex was taboo. I wasn't able to express my true self. My voice was stuck in my throat. I felt ashamed, even for wanting my husband. I felt unwanted, and I wondered what was wrong with me. I lost my self-confidence. I lost myself in that relationship. I suppressed the flow of my devotion to deepest love. Instead, I devoted myself to caring and serving others while ignoring my needs. So in the end, like a well that had been used up without any replenishment, I dried up. But thankfully, the universe led me back to my root. My heart mindful journey began with the retreat at Plum Village 15 years ago. It was where I met the teaching of Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh. Have you heard of Thich Nhat Hanh?
No, I have not.
Yeah, I can share later if we have time. But soon after that retreat, I had an epiphany. I realized that for all of those years in my marriage, I relied on the external sources to filling the gap within me. I set myself up with many obstacles and sabotaged my happiness in the process. But finally, I came home to myself, reconnecting with the core of my being, growing my heart and mind with loving consciousness. I let go, relaxed, and stopped searching for happiness from the outside. Instead, I filled myself up with boundless love that's inherently within me, just as love that's within you all. So I've been able to heal myself and I've grown. And like a bird, I've now grown my wings, heart and mind, soaring higher and higher in the sky, enjoying my freedom and attracting more love and abundance in my life. But above all, Orest, swelling up inside me is the desire to share my journey, to reduce suffering, and to bring more love and consciousness, particularly Lotus, in our sexuality.
Lotus, you mentioned that you were in a sexless marriage, and I think a lot of people find themselves in that. I think more people, or sexless or infrequent or unfulfilling sex, all kind of are in the same way. Were you able, when you went through this process, were you able to revive your marriage, or was that pretty much dead?
I'm able to rejuvenate my desire for deepest love, for intimacy, for, because let's put it back here. So during those 15 years of marriage, it was actually what we call it now, and I didn't know at the time, it was what is called developmental trauma, because I suppressed my emotions and my sexual energy and my expression. And where do you think that those emotions, if we don't have the chance to express it fully, where does it go? Where do you think?
It turns into stress, I think, one of the things, unhappiness.
Yeah, well, basically, it goes down and it's stuck into our body at the cellular level. And over the time, one experience after another, it built up and it becomes blockages, and it blocks our blood flow, our energy flow. It affects us, and it manifests into physical symptoms, but also affects us in every way, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. So it manifested in on the physical part of it was my, I developed a dry throat at night. At about 4 o'clock in the morning, I felt dry. I had to get up and drink water. And because, remember, I felt jucked here. And then over the time, it affected the autoimmune function. So become a dysfunctional immune system. But further than that, deep down, I didn't realize actually until I heal myself. I've been on this journey that I closed my heart. Or actually, I'm not closing. My heart is full of love as always, but it's protected. I put an armor around it. And so we call it the armor around the heart. And even on a physical level, we have what is called the pericardium, that surrounding the membranes that surround the heart to protect the heart. So that on a physical level, but as you can imagine, on a metaphoric, energetic level, is hold the heart and imprison the heart. So to answer your questions, over the years, deep down, subconsciously, I have suppressed my desire to have, to have passion, to have love. I do have, on the surface, I have lots of love, and I definitely wanted to have, intimacy and enjoy sexuality, but I'm blocked. So with the practice, I'm able to open my heart, remove the armor, release, first of all, to release these emotion, suppressed emotion and trauma from my body at the cellular level, but also from the energetic and spiritual level as well. And now I am not afraid of having desire, and actually I'm practicing every day to amplify these desire, these passion, and very sensual or sexual. But actually, my work, we will have the time to explore into that, is the spiritual world. And so basically, because I have removed the fear of not being met with my expectation, because I have no more expectation, because I know that within myself, I can meet myself, I can love myself, and meet all whatever that I need. Because my direction is now spiritual, and I'm one with the supreme consciousness. with whatever you call it, wherever you are in your personal and spiritual development. I'm talking you about the audience as well. Wherever you are, what is it that your best version or your self-realization or your, what is it? And for me, it's the oneness with whether it's God or Buddha or Mother Nature or the Supreme Consciousness or the universe. So that is my direction. And it's wonderful that I know now how to do it. So I'm not afraid of it anymore. So to answer your question, yes, I have revived my life passion for love, intimacy, and sexuality.
But I know you revived it yourself, but were you able to revive the relationship with your husband through practice?
Oh yeah, of course.
Okay.
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. But no, because to be fair, to be clear, my husband passed away years ago before I been deeper into this path. But even at that time, when we were separated and then divorced, we always, he's, as I mentioned, he's my best friend, my soulmate. And we always had that beautiful connection until the day he passed away. But in terms of intimacy, he's got to meet me as well, right? It's not just me.
Right.
But I'm able to be in other relationship with other partners or even with life. I am full of, I'm full of love. I have a lot of, at the moment, the universe just give it to me so much abundance and love.
Yeah. So a lot of people, and I'm probably maybe fall into this category. You hear the word tantric, and you hear tantric sex or tantric practice. What does that actually mean in terms of actually to engage in that activity?
Yes, but that's the sad thing actually, is that Tantra, tantric sex, whatever you call it, is being taken out of the context. Tantra is a spiritual practice, like any other spiritual practice, that take us up to that ultimate, to the summit, right? To the top of the mountain, wherever that is that you, as I mentioned, whether it's your self-realization in terms of spirituality or meeting with God, Buddha, or whoever, or the Supreme Consciousness soul. So that is the path. But that path, this path is embrace life with full intensity. And it embrace everything, including our sexuality. And it's also, so sadly, the West just take the sexuality out of that, and without, a misunderstanding or mispractice, basically. So would you like it? Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. So let's say you have what type of people come to you with what types of challenges in their life from an emotional and sexual situation, and I'll tell you, because I think that a lot of times people are in sexual depravity where they don't have any sex, and they say, well, I want more sex, but they really, in a lot of ways, they want more than that. They want a spiritual, emotional, and physical intimacy. But they say like, well, I just want more sex. But you can have more sex by just masturbating. So what is it? What kind of people seek you out, and with what type of challenges and what type of problems do you help them deal with?
Yes, you're absolutely right that the kind of people who are seeking out for help in, in this aspect is that they want something deeper, something more amazing, and they know there's something out there. It's not just sex; it's actually sex, our sexual drive. Underneath that sexual drive is our longing for love and connectedness. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So we can say that sex is an expression of our longing for love.
Mm-hmm.
However, we can express it unconsciously, or just have and then just have a mediocre experience and feeling unfulfilled.
Sure.
Or we can consciously direct this energy towards something higher, deeper, something that, as Sigmund Freud says, goes beyond the normal sense of self or even the normal sense of life, something that infuses with the meaning beyond the mere physical experience. Then we experience the state of bliss and ecstasy, right? So coming back to Tantra, what is famous for, as you know, Tantric sex, as you call it, we can harness this powerful, creative life force, which is our sexual energy. That's where we come from, right?
Right.
And then we use it for us to become a magnetic force, as a feminine or as a masculine. So we enrich that force, spread it to our entire life, and create the life that we wish for. So to answer your questions, the people who come to me are those who are committed to enhancing their health, wellness, happiness, and improve their relationship. So basically, it's in the category of love, intimacy, and sexuality. Yes, they may have, whether they have problem with the men, like ejaculation or orgasm, and women as well, or it just, because that is just the symptoms, but it's more than that, right? And so in general, they come to help themselves to have more vitality, to have more love and consciousness, and to help them succeed in their relationship, in their work and life. Does it make sense to you? I can go through a full list of symptoms that I can help.
Give us a few of them. Go ahead and give us a few of them.
So first of all, reduce stress, because stress is the fundamental, is one of the worst things that can affect our sexuality, our relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I help them reduce stress. And and then they lack focus and focus, and they lose their productivity and efficiency in their work, right? They have conflicts in their relationship, mm-hmm. With a loved one, with life, and also they feel it's hard for them to deal with strong emotions, and they want to feel good. So I help them to how to deal with that. And then life challenges. There's so much going on around us. It's like always, many things going on. How to deal with that effectively with with being grounded, to be grounded within this storms of life, and and also to harmonize their sexual relationship, their sexual energy, and of course to harness this energy for more happiness, for bliss and love. Some of the things I can share, and there are much more. It's basically my work is fundamental in terms of training this mind, transcend the mind, go beyond our habitual, our mental habits and limitation from the mind, the ego, to also remove this armor. Because, first of all, with the mind, as you know, our body is here, but our mind somewhere else, right? Most of the time.
Sure.
We're not really connected with ourselves, with our body. We worry about the future, regret about the past, and we're not really present in the moment. And the heart is, we've been hurt for so much and so long, so we close up and we contract, so we are unable to give and receive love. And with the body, as I explained earlier, with each experience we have, our body reacts with an emotion, and a lot of the time we're unable to express it, particularly with strong emotions like anger, sadness, and jealousy, and all of that is suppressed down here. So we got stuck, we got blockages. So what do? We need to retrain the mind, unlock the heart, remove the armor, and heal the body, and integrate heart, mind, body as a whole. So what I'm trying to say here is that the symptoms, you give me any symptoms, but what I'm working here is the cause, the root cause of our problems, of our deep unhappiness on a physical, mental, and emotional and spiritual level.
Sure. Okay.
Do you need accountability? Are you looking to change the course of your life but have failed to keep on track? Too often we take in information and fail to act. Do you need an accountability program to stay the course? Then go to www.thestandard.academy and find out about my accountability program that goes with my course that helps you find out what you want, why you want it, and how to get it. The accountability program keeps you on track to get results.
As far as the people that come to you, is it mostly men? Is it mostly women? Is it couples? Or how does that, what's the majority of people that come to see you?
Yes, all of them, men, women. If you look into my website with the testimonials, I can tell you I'm so surprised that a lot of them give me, share their experience with me on an incredible, intimate way, the way that they feel so openly. And yes, so I work with men, women, and couple, and particularly with men.
Mm-hmm.
You know why? I have been always all along for a long time. I always want to help men, and I will help women, as you know, as well. But let me share with you why I want to help men so much. First of all, I see that there are, men suffer the same thing like us as women. But there are not a lot of programs out there for men. There are a lot of programs for women, but not for men. Mm-hmm. So they are underserved. I also have been working with a lot of men, and they trust me, and because I understand them, and I give them my total devotion, unconditional love to help them. Mm. And thirdly, to be honest, I help them because I want to help us women. In order for us women to be happy, we need our men to be happy. We need to raise their level of consciousness to meet us. And so those are the three reasons why I'm very passionate about helping men. And I tell you what, there's so many men contacting me to help them. So I'm creating, two kind of programs to help more people, particularly men.
Yeah. And by the way, if you want to work with Lotus, and this will be in the program notes, but you go to the standard.academy/tantric, and that'll take you to her site, and also the ability to connect with her and work with her. So So when you work with men, let's say you're working with the man, but they are in a sexless or infrequent sex marriage or unfulfilling sex. Usually it's unfulfilling because it's infrequent. And when the man begs enough, eventually, or he gets his significant other drunk, then maybe that it'll happen. But most of the time, it's unfulfilling, and a lot of times she may be just laying there like, okay, when can we get this over with? Go ahead and come, and so I can get this over with and get back to what I was doing, or go to sleep. So so you have a client who's a man, and I know this is just gives a brief glimpse about how do you work with them so that they can bring along their wife, their girlfriend, their significant other in the process, because you're only maybe a lot of times you're probably just dealing with one person, not the couple.
Yeah, of course, couple would be, if the two of them do together is easier for each of them to have a quicker result, right? But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's all about each individual, each of us. So for the man or the woman, they need to work on themselves first and foremost.
Right.
And that once they, and then they will make an influence on the others. Mm-hmm. And because of the way they approach to life, the way they deal with themselves, it reflect onto the way that they deal with their partner or with life or with others, right? So my work is focusing on the inner work within oneself first and foremost. And then also I have tools and techniques to help to connect and a kind of a relational tools and methodology and techniques to deepen and connect with others. So to answer your question, yes, this is how, okay, I would help them. In general, I have these 5 steps in my system. And that is the 5, I call it the 5 R's: recognize, release, relax, reflect, rejuvenate. And so recognize is actually all about becoming aware of what's going on within you and around you, right? So that you can make the right choice and the right decision and take the right action in the moment, right? But more than that, particularly with men and women is where I'm talking, we need to go deeper and understand not just what's going on around me, what I'm thinking, but also I help them going really deeper into the body, into the sensations, into the organs, into the energy, to feel within, the subtle energies. And so they have that awareness combined with the attitude of taking on whatever that's going in life and deal with it and direct it in a way with loving kindness, and then, you can transcend the experience of whatever that is going on in the moment. So awareness has to have that other aspect, which is loving consciousness. But also for my work, I'm going also in the body as well, because this is how it houses everything in us in this human form. This human form houses everything in this life, right?
Yes,
this
absolutely.
is where we go. It's a vehicle for us to go up to the mountain. So my work is to honor, to love, to care, to respect, and to honor our body and with whatever that within here on of physical and metaphoric level and energetic level and everything else. So that's the first part of the recognize. And then the release, recognize and the release, right? Now that we grow, I call it grow the two wings of awareness, pure awareness and loving kindness. Now we have some energy and strength and power. We can go deeper to discover the blockages, the traumas that held us back, that affect us subconsciously. And it's still our happiness, our health and relationship without us even knowing it. So we need to open that Pandora box, and let it go. Allow it to live so we have more inner space to grow consciously and with love, right? So expand that. And then when we have that space, we can have a deeper, what I call a relaxation state. Relax, and we can also enjoy deeper, going deeper with our inner peace and joy and become more grounded. And I use this word, once you're grounded, it doesn't matter what the storms out there, which is our emotional or mental or the condition that impose on us, is all of these challenges, right? It's like a storm of life that we have to deal with. But we're like the eye of the storm, that we're really peaceful right in the middle of it, because we're like a tree, we're deeply rooted in ourselves. And so we just bend with the wind and dance with the wind. Yeah. So that is, the state of relaxation, or relax, I use the word in that step. And then reflect. Now we have that space, then everything becomes clear. The metaphor of the mind when is equivalent to the lake. So when the lake is full of mud, right, because of all of what's going on and emotionally and mentally in our mind, is muddy. But if we allow it, the lake, the water, to calm down, and eventually all of the mud and the sediment settle down at the bottom and the water become clear, we can even see our reflection in the water. We can see the reflection of the sky, of the trees, whatever, in that water. That's when we can see the root. We can see things at the bottom, and with the clarity, we see the truth. So that is another step called reflect. And rejuvenate. And we can amplify all of this energy, and we now have insight and wisdom. We can amplify that to rejuvenate ourselves, particularly with this strong emotion of sexuality, of our erotic but spiritual energy, to manifest the life that we want and help, and radiate that life out to other people, instead of trying to do something to please other people, which take a lot of energy and effort, right? We're striving, we're grasping, and we do things. We don't have to do anything. We just be in ourselves, and we can have an impact onto other people and onto the world.
Sure. Lotus, what is, just kind of curious, what's the oldest client you've had?
Oldest client is 57.
Oh, okay, so 57 years old. So you haven't.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So
and more. No, the oldest client, he's a teacher. He's retired. I think he must be 70.
70. Okay, yeah. So I think a lot of people think that, and I think this is a big error. A lot of people think that at some point you just are not interested in sex, and well, there's actually some reasons for that. in both men and women, but there's still a desire for intimacy. And it's kind of an interesting thing that people just kind of accept that as it is, and they don't take action. They don't do anything to make their life better. I'm always amazed at the fact that people don't do that. I mean, one of the things that is part of my morning ritual is that I ask myself, what can I do today to be a better version of myself today than I was yesterday? And so if you are not working to get better, you're getting worse. There's no such thing as status quo. It does not exist. And people, will lie to themselves. And if they look at their lives carefully, and they say, I've been maintaining the status quo for the last 5 years, they will realize that they have not been, that they're actually deteriorating. Because unless you're actively working to be a better version of yourself, you're actually going backwards. But this whole thing of age, especially as I'm getting, we're all getting older. There's only one cure for getting older. and it's not particularly a good one. But it's an interesting phenomenon. So what have you had situations where people just fight you and they don't get the result that they want?
Say it again, the last question.
Do you ever have situations where people fight you on the process that you're trying to lead them through, and they end up not getting the results that they want? Because I think a lot of times I find this also kind of interesting is people will go to an expert and they will start telling the expert how they want to do something when they don't have a clue. You run into that
that's
situation?
The job of the expert, to help them to clarify.
Exactly.
Find what it is that they want, right? That's my job.
Yeah. So, like I said, some people, you see that. I don't know if you see if they have these shows here in the States. I'm sure they have them in the UK, where they have like businesses in trouble, especially who's the famous chef Gordon Ramsay. He goes into restaurants and the first thing that happens is the restaurant owner that is failing starts arguing with Gordon Ramsay, who's incredibly successful, about the fact that everything is fine as his restaurant that's failing. And the first part of the show is them arguing about that. And then eventually they have some clarity on it. So as I mentioned in the show notes, there'll be opportunity for you to connect with Lotus. You go to the standard.academy /Tantric, and you'll be able to connect with her. And as we kind of wind down here, is there anything that you want to say to the audience in particular?
Yes, I just want to respond to what you've been talking about. My work is guaranteed.
Wow.
The result. And so funny, isn't it? Yes. And you talk also about older age as well, and about being in the comfort zone and the status quo, the status quo. And you're absolutely right. When we stay there, we just go down because life is going up. Mm-hmm. And so it's dangerous actually to stay in our comfort zone, as you know. Mm-hmm. And also, it's funny you say the older ones get, the more we fight, we lack energy, we don't need it, and we can't have it. Actually, it's the opposite for me and my clients, mm-hmm. whom I helped. And they have even a better, happier state of better health, happier state of happiness, of well-being than they ever had before in their life. Mm-hmm. So that's what I can say with my experience and my own experience and the experiences of my clients.
Sure.
And we don't have time to go further. So I would very happy to connect with your audience, and and have a chat, a conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, right. I've got the oh yeah, is it okay? I have a 1 or 2 minutes talking about my new program.
Yeah, go ahead, please do. Please do. Yeah,
just this one. So yes, so I mentioned about the guarantee one. This is a new high value program that I just designed, combining all of the elements of my works. Because in the past, for over the 13 years, I give workshop, retreats, short courses, and healing work, one-on-one, group coaching, all of that. But they are just short one. They are fragmental, as you know. I integrate heart, mind, body, and soul as a whole. So this program incorporates everything all in one. So I'm so happy I created this one, because then I now have a chance to help the client to in a more holistic way and take them from one level to another level, but in a holistic way, not just different aspect at one point. And then, they came to my work to work with me, and then they receive great experiences. But then when they left, they went down again, back to their to their comfort zone, and got stuck again on a different level. And so this one helped them tremendously to achieve things quicker in their personal, their intimate love life, and also on their work, their business, and the impact they give in the world. So because I want to make it right, it's going to cost me a lot of time and money to put it all together. So I want to make it right for the target audience, who are entrepreneurs, purpose-driven, high-achieving entrepreneurs, or heart-based business leaders, to give me their opinions on certain solutions and the value they put on solving the problems. Basically, I'd love to have their feedback. So if your audience feel resonate with that, then I would appreciate to have a kind of a 30-40 minutes chat with them to go through my program and have their feedback. It's not a sales conversation. It's purely just to ask for their questions, for their opinion, and the conversation is confidential.
Sure. Okay. Well,
and it's a guarantee program, so I won't get as we go along in the path. They only pay me when we get the results that we both agree, and I promised.
That's a pretty strong guarantee. So I appreciate it. I'm sure you're going to get some takers on that. So Lotus, I want to thank you for the conversation that we had today. I think it's important. I think it's a part of life that people say, oh, it's just the way it is, and they kind of give up on it. And I think that intimacy on all levels is a very important part of your life, and a part makes it life a lot more fun. I can attest. I can attest to that for sure. So we appreciate.
Yes, my dear, we have only this life, right? In his human form, as we know right now, right? So make the best out of it. Why just living in this mediocre life, and when we can have this beautiful life and have the bliss and joy and ecstasy, and enjoy life to the full. Make the best out of it.
Absolutely. Well,
and
thank you.
I love that about you. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Thank you. This is Oris, the official old guy at oldguytalkstome.com. First of all, I want to make sure you go to the standard.academy/magazine and get my free digital magazine along with the other things. And that's also going to be in the show notes. And I want you to do several things. First of all, I want you to share this podcast. I want you to rate this podcast. and I want you to review it. And if you leave me a bad review, that's okay too. As a matter of fact, if you get kind of rabid and need to be a keyboard warrior, go ahead and leave me lots of bad reviews. I love my bad reviewers. So until next time, remember, it's all about creating a kick-ass life for yourself and those that you love.
Thank you for joining Dr. Orist and his incredible guest. Like what you heard and learned? Then be sure to do 3 things. 1, subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. 2, share this with someone who may need to hear it. 3, leave a review and rate this podcast. Opt in at www.thestandard.academy/magazine and get our free digital magazine with savings, articles, and deeper dives into cool controversy. Be the guy who takes action. Without action, you're not going to get the results you want. Thank you again, and make it a great day.